Hi and welcome back to my channel. Again we are here with the Cornely LTG model. This has got the 3 needle setup with the central coiling bobbin running at ratio 2:1. I am now going to start dismantling the machine to convert it to a single needle. First, for ease, you will need to take your gear back to 0 so that your central gear here will run freely. We need to remove the guide like so, and remove the central bobbin. Like so. Please be mindful of where the screws rest on your table, so they're hard to replace, so please try not to lose them. Next, up at the top here, what you'll notice, unlike any other model apart from the LT, you have 3 of the wing screws in a block which sits above the single wing screw. These 3 wing screws control the needle bars. These are the 3 different needle bars here, so you can adjust them individually. Or if you need to raise your needles, for example, to run over a seam, then all you need to do is loosen the single large one at the bottom, and your whole needle block will come up out of the machine like so. So that's, for example, you needed to run over a seam, or you need to change a needle but don't want to change the needle heights. This has a flat part on the tube part that will fit in, so it will keep everything positioned consistently when this screw is tight. And you will be able to change a single needle, for example, if one broke. You will use these same needle rods to do the 2-row stitching on this machine, but you will not use these rods for the single needle. Instead, you will be using the hollow pipe, just like the L series, the simple L series machine, straight down through this pipe here. Of course, we'll need to thread that up. Needle goes in the end. This hollow pipe will allow us, and I'll show this shortly in another video, to use the fill coiling. But first we need to remove the nipple, which is currently on the machine. One screw here, which, this is the front, the screw is in the back. There is the option to put it in the front or the back, but for this purpose it needs to go in the back, and the single needle of the triangle formation goes to the front and 2 needles at the back. This bubble head screw is used for all of the nipples, be it the single needle, double needle, or triple needle. You will use the same screw. I just need to find a better screwdriver. Bear with me. Thank you for being patient with me. In there nice and tight, which is essential. We don't want any play in the nipple. Now, remove your fabric. We will need to remove the needle plates to replace the central needle plate there. So remove the cover, remove your threads. We need to rethread everything later. Just pull them down through. remove your central needle plate like so. Bring your handle to the front, and what you'll find here is a screw of a half moon that it's holding down. Loosen this off, don't take it all the way out, just loosen it off. Hold your handle and push the half moon out of the way completely, like so. Keep removing the front plate. You will need your hook knife for this next part. And it will be easier if you remove the foot to remove, I will do that actually for the video. I'm going to remove the foot in order for you to be able to see better. One moment. Use these pliers which I supply with the machine on any of the wing nuts which are tight. Make sure it's straight on before loosening. Now you can see my nipple is already starting to fall down. There we go. So I need to remove, using the hook knife in the hole there, I need to remove what is essentially the looper. So there you can see now the 3 different pipes. We need to use the single pipe version, but first we're going to remove the nipple. There's the corresponding nipple, and you'll see the triangle formation I mentioned just earlier. When I send a machine, you will find these small packets, which are actually an entire set. And in the set, you will find these 3 pieces. So this is the single needle coiling guide, with now the single pipe and the single hole in the needle plate. Simply drop in your single needle, looper, move your half moon across to hold it down, rotate the handle so you can access the screw nicely, and tighten that back up. You should have no resistance when you move the handle for this process. Just like before, we have the notch cut out for the needle plate, and we have the corresponding notch, so it will drop in very nicely like so. Now before we put the cover on, I'm going to put the nipple in. I prefer the coil to actually be in the back, because otherwise the needle tends to try to catch the coil. So think about your machine deactivated, your stitch length tab at the front, and your needle will also be at the front. This is why I didn't put the plate on. We need to remove the needle plate in order to get the nipple up into the machine. Trying to align the screw hole at the same time. As mentioned, you need to use the same screw. I'm going to put it in the front this time for the single needle. But if the needle tries to touch this screw, or if all of a sudden everything feels a little tight, then swap it over to the back. But never have 2 screws in the machine at the same time. If it feels tight, it means it's not perfectly aligned, and the screw is actually shifting the nipple around in order to get it perfectly aligned. We have these screws available. These do wear out rather quickly. If you need a new one, it's not an issue. Now, needle plate in, cover plate on. Actually, let's thread this up now, even though we can do this single one without having to remove the needle plate. I would like to show you clearly in the video, like before, the way that we thread it up is to actually go through the pipe, push your wire down. You're going to need long wires. These are exclusively available from us. And thread up the machine, which with one only this time. One of the cones under your machine. Making sure nothing gets tangled as you pull it up through. There we go. Again, we need to pull that through the needle plate before we put that on the machine. Like so. So you're going through the central hole in the needle plate. And then you need to do the same. We're going to slip that in there now. You need to do the same, threading it up through the big area of your cover plate, like so. So quite similar to the 3 needle video that we made earlier. And there you can see, we now have threaded up this single yarn. In the next video, I'll show you the needle bar.